Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to start our journey together as we explore important teachings that inspire kindness and charity in our daily lives. On this first slide, we see a powerful hadith reported by Abu Hurairah, where the Messenger of Allah, Sass, highlights simple yet profound acts of charity that we can perform every day. Over the course of this presentation, we'll delve into these acts and discover how they can positively impact our lives and those around us. Let's begin this meaningful exploration. This hadith alludes to the marvelous creation of humans. When we think about how humans are created and how all the different parts of our bodies interact with each other, it's truly astonishing. It's almost impossible not to feel a sense of awe when we reflect on this. Allah himself has mentioned in the Quran how wonderfully humans have been created, highlighting this as one of his incredible signs. These signs are meant to make us wake up and realize that our existence did not come from nothing. Instead, it points to a creator, someone who is wise, all-knowing, and purposeful in his creation. A beautiful hadith reminds us that every joint of everyone has upon it a recommended charity for every day upon which the sun rises. This means that even the smallest parts of our body are engaged in acts of charity and service. It's a reminder that we can contribute positively in small ways every day, and that our very existence is a sign of Allah's divine wisdom and mercy. Connecting this to our overall theme, it's about recognizing the signs around us and within us, and understanding that our creation is a testament to Allah's greatness. It encourages us to reflect deeply and to acknowledge the creator behind this magnificent design. Let's take a closer look at the word upon used in this hadith. Many people tend to think that upon means obligation, that it's something you are required to do. However, the word can actually have a broader meaning. It can refer to what is obligatory, but it also includes what is recommended or encouraged. In fact, many scholars and commentators interpret this word here as indicating a strong recommendation rather than a strict obligation. So, when it talks about acts of gratitude towards our bones and joints, it's suggesting that such acts are highly encouraged, but not necessarily mandatory. This distinction is important because it shapes how we approach these teachings, more as suggestions that can earn reward and bring benefit, rather than rules that we must strictly follow. It ties into the overall theme of our presentation, emphasizing the importance of intention and balance in our acts of worship and gratitude. Let's take a closer look at the significance of the word sulama in this hadith. Most commentators tend to interpret sulama as referring to all the bones and joints in the human body. However, this understanding might be influenced by another hadith from Aisha, which mentions both mafsal and sulama, and states that there are 360 of them. But specifically, when we talk about sulama, it refers to the small bones in the hands and feet. These tiny bones are put together in a truly magnificent way. It's their interaction that enables us to have such dexterity in our hands, allowing us to perform delicate tasks and fine movements. And in the feet, these bones are what give us the proper balance needed to walk and move about smoothly. So, understanding sulama highlights the incredible complexity and precision involved in the human body's design, which ultimately points to the Creator's wisdom and mastery. This also ties into the larger theme of the presentation, how every part of the human body, even the smallest bones, holds significance and reflects divine craftsmanship. Let's take a moment to look at this slide from Continuous Learning Development. The slide shows the Arabic word yom, which is usually translated as day. However, what's interesting is that yom is often used to refer to periods of time that can be longer than a single day or even shorter than a full day. For instance, when people mention the day of Siffin, they are talking about the Battle of Siffin. But that battle actually lasted more than one day, so the term yom here doesn't strictly mean a 24-hour period. This can lead to some ambiguity, so to clarify, the Prophet, peace be upon him, explicitly said, upon which the sun rises. By adding this phrase, he made it clear that he was referring to a specific kind of day. the 24-hour period we commonly think of as a day. So the key point here is that this clarification helps us avoid confusion and understand that when the Prophet mentioned yom with that phrase, he meant a day as in a full day cycle, sunrise to sunrise. This detail is important because it ties back to the overall theme of precision in language and understanding in our teachings. It is truly a blessing from Allah's great kindness and grace that He has made acts of gratitude, whether obligatory or recommended, into acts of charity. When we give thanks for the blessings we receive, our response should be similar to performing a charitable act ourselves. This highlights how gratitude is not just a personal feeling, but a form of benevolence that benefits others and aligns with our spiritual duties. Understanding the significance of these acts of charity helps us see how interconnected our gratitude and generosity are within our faith. It reminds us that every act of thankfulness is a way to earn Allah's pleasure and to spread goodness in the community. This concept really ties into the overall theme of our presentation, that expressing gratitude is not just about personal acknowledgement, but also about actively contributing to the well-being of others through charitable acts. Many humans receive numerous bounties from Allah, yet they do not recognize that these bounties come from Allah. Because of this lack of awareness, they often do not give thanks or gratitude to Allah for these blessings. They might enjoy their worldly blessings, but what's missing is an essential aspect: recognition and thankfulness to the one who grants these bounties. On the other hand, there are those who are blessed and guided even further by Allah. These individuals understand that all blessings originate from Allah Himself. As a result, they respond with gratitude and thanks to Allah for everything they receive. And what's remarkable is that these thankful people also continue to receive their share of worldly blessings. But here's the key point. The bounty of thankfulness is actually greater than the worldly bounty itself. This means that being grateful and recognizing Allah's blessings elevates us spiritually and increases our overall well-being in ways that material blessings alone cannot. It ties back to the overall theme of this presentation: how our attitude of gratitude and recognition of Allah's favors are vital for true success and fulfillment. This slide highlights an important concept from a hadith that emphasizes the value of bringing peace and harmony between people. The wording here suggests actions like making peace, reconciling differences, and judging fairly between individuals. It's about bringing two parties together in a way that neither makes something forbidden seem permissible, nor vice versa. What's really powerful is the idea that such acts, these efforts to reconcile, are considered a form of charity. It's not just about helping someone physically or financially, but about fostering peace and love in our communities. Think about the wonderful results this can bring: peace, love, and harmony, especially in situations where there's been disharmony or conflict. When we act justly between others, we're actually performing a moral act of charity, contributing to a more harmonious society. So the takeaway here is that justice between people isn't just a moral duty, but also a form of charity that benefits everyone involved. It aligns perfectly with our overall theme of continuous learning and development, improving ourselves by fostering justice and compassion in our interactions. This slide highlights a beautiful aspect of our faith: small acts that can bring us closer to Allah and show our gratitude for His many blessings. One such act is simply helping others, which is highly valued in Islam. Sultan emphasizes that every act where a Muslim assists his brother is not just kind, but also pleasing to Allah. It's important to remember that Allah has commanded us to support one another in good deeds. When we help others, we're not only easing their burdens, but also fulfilling our spiritual duty. For example, even something as simple as helping someone get on their mount is considered a charitable act. These small gestures, when done sincerely, contribute greatly to our spiritual growth and community harmony. So, as we reflect on these points, let's see how these acts of kindness fit into the larger picture of our faith, and how they serve as a way to express our gratitude to Allah for all His blessings. Here again, we see an excellent and simple way to spread happiness and perform a charitable act. It's something accessible to nearly everyone, regardless of their physical or mental state. Most importantly, this act is beloved to Allah and should be part of our gratitude to Him. When we think about expressing gratitude or kindness, the phrase, a good word, comes up often. Cindy defines it as any word that either reminds people of Allah or benefits His creation. That's a powerful concept, because it highlights that even our words can be acts of charity. In fact, a good word is considered a charitable act itself. So when we speak kindly, positively, or remind others of Allah, we're not just being polite, we're earning reward and spreading goodness. This ties into our overall theme of continuous learning and development, reminding us that small, consistent acts, like choosing our words carefully, can have a profound impact. It's a beautiful reminder that kindness and gratitude are always within our reach, and they hold great significance in our faith. This slide highlights a very important aspect of our faith and gratitude towards Allah. It emphasizes the significance of attending the prayer in congregation at the mosque. Every step we take toward that prayer is not just a physical act, but a charitable act, a form of gratitude for the countless blessings Allah has bestowed upon us. The Hadith mentions that removing harmful things from the path is also considered a charitable act. This reminds us that simple actions, like helping keep the environment safe and clean for others, are also acts of charity that we can all do. Many Muslims see something harmful in the road, but think it's not their responsibility. When we ignore such things, it shows a lack of gratitude and awareness of our duty to contribute positively. So remember, every step you take toward prayer, every effort you make, is a charitable act. It's a beautiful way to show gratitude to Allah and fulfill our responsibilities as part of our faith community. In the Takhrij section we discussed earlier, we looked at the Hadith of Abu Dihar from Sahih Muslim. That Hadith concludes with the important statement that for charity, it is sufficient to pray 2 rakats at Duha. Ibn Daqiq offers a valuable insight here. He explains that in these 2 rakats of Duha, all parts of the body are engaged in worship of Allah in the proper manner. Because of this, they serve as a complete act of gratitude for that day. This highlights how the Duha prayer isn't just a ritual, but a holistic act involving the entire body, expressing our thankfulness to Allah. It connects to our overall theme of sincere devotion and the importance of integrating worship into our daily routines in a meaningful way. The time of the Duha prayer begins shortly after the sun rises above the horizon, which is about 20 minutes after sunrise according to Ibn Utaymin. It continues until just before high noon, and again, Ibn Utaymin mentions this is also about 20 minutes before noon. So, essentially, all of that period is considered the proper time for the Duha prayer. However, there is a preferred time within this window, based on the Hadith of the Prophet, where he said, "The prayer of the penitent is when your weaned camels feel the heat of the sun." It suggests that delaying the Duha prayer until a bit later is more virtuous. In terms of the minimum number of rakats, it is 2, as indicated in that same Hadith. But it's also permissible and encouraged to pray up to 8 rakats, usually in sets of 2, making it a flexible and rewarding prayer. Now, regarding the regulations, what's important to remember is the intention and the timing, making sure we're within that window and praying with sincerity. The key point is that the Duha prayer is a voluntary act of worship, but it holds great significance, especially when performed at the preferred time. This connects to our overall goal of cultivating consistent and meaningful worship throughout the day. Today, I want to highlight the incredible marvel of Allah's creation, specifically focusing on the small bones in our hands and feet. These tiny bones, along with all the joints and bones throughout our bodies, are a testament to Allah's magnificent creation. They remind us of the great bounty that Allah has bestowed upon us. It's important to remember that our gratitude isn't just about saying thank you. It's about showing thankfulness through our actions. True gratefulness involves acts of charity towards others, and these acts don't have to be costly or require wealth. Simple deeds like bringing justice between 2 people, helping someone get on their mount, placing their belongings on a conveyance, speaking kind words, or taking a step towards the mosque are all acts of charity that reflect our gratitude. These actions are accessible to everyone and are highly valued in Islam. In essence, the key message here is that our gratitude to Allah should be reflected in how we treat others and in the good deeds we perform daily. This aligns with the overall theme of the presentation, that gratitude and charity go hand in hand in strengthening our faith and our community.